top of those key levels. Let's do a little countdown. Actually, sometimes the one on YouTube, at least, it was like lagged behind or didn't record all of the whole thing. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into another little live stream here on Sunday with Mr. Hazed.
Yo, yo.
Let me check out if they heard you. Okay, so they can fucking hear you. Awesome. Yeah, I realized that the live stream that we did on Friday, where we just went over the markets, unfortunately, I was not able to record Mr. Hayes' voice.
Aww.
Yeah. So whenever I was sitting there while you were talking, it looked like I was just like crazy talking to myself. I'm like,
What do you mean I wasn't even there on Friday?
What the fuck? Well, today we're going to follow our regular scheduled programming. All right, we're going to go over just things that we were looking for then this week, maybe this following month, on today. And then we will also dive into our liquidity pools, just clusters of stops above key levels, liquidity pool above and above daily high and lows. And just like those institutional setups. So let's get right into it. What do we have here today, right now, currently? Right. Well, actually, first of all, let's go over things that we've done in the past, right? Let's keep that consistency going from when we talked about last about it in terms of, okay, well, we want to see and make sure that we are always reviewing our trades. So Monday, all right, let's do that little trade review. We had this liquidity, came back, retested it, right? Then we sold off from it. Over here, we started pumping up, came into the OTE of this, rejected it, some shorts over here, right into this order block, which gave us this entry right there, right? Into discount on the 1 minute. We also had a little order block right there, and then we continued up. That was our Monday plan. Tuesday, very similar setup. They've been running that setup. Dump it into open, and then continue up, right? We had another 1 minute setup over here. Cleared off this LRLR after coming into the OTE of this range. Came into an order block over here, and then we continued up from it. Just something quick on Wednesday. I think we really traded on Wednesday. Yeah, that was just a bunch of bullshittery. Like good old fucking tariff announcement or whatever. That was pretty solid, right? Then over here, I think we talked about how this came into the 4 hour, the previous 4 hour candle. So the 3 to, let's see, I think that was Wednesday. This to 2 a.m. No, not quite. Didn't quite come into that 6 a.m. Yeah, 6 a.m. didn't quite come into it. But we also did not clear above it, right? We did not clear above the 50% of the 4 hour candle range. So therefore, we continued on down. So that was pretty nice. So then what did we do? We're here, started selling down. Very similar setup, 9 a.m. We make this little order block right here. Started to get above it. Continued up into this. Rejected off the OTE of the range that we have created. Right on the 705 and the key level that we had, the 1907-250. Right, we've talked about this level. We said, okay, well, we need to get above it and hold above it in order for us to continue to the upside. Unfortunately, we did not do that. So then we started to continue on down. On Friday, we did a small little review as well. Friday was the one that retraced into that range, into the Asian range, actually. So that was Friday. Friday retraced into Asia range. Where's my OTE? Right there, you can see that's the setup that we usually practice here on stream. Retrace over here, 786, 705. Continuation down. Beautiful. And then chop around the whole day with a fucking 3,000 point range. Right now, we had a little gap down. We hit a few key levels to the downside, and you can see we held those. We even decided want to see price above. This is an old level that we have, so all of the levels that you outlined from the past are going to remain relative. Right here, we hit those levels, right? Our key level is that purple line. I believe that's the yearly, right? Or what does our purple mean? Where do I have on my sign? Where do I have my meaning sign? Purple 12 month, yeah. So 1 year. Those were our levels. We hit that. So now we are looking for it to maybe gap fill. Possible. All right. I've already traded. I'm not going to touch anything tomorrow. I'm going to wake up and fuck right off.
I'm not even gonna wake up.
Yeah, I'll wake up and I'll do a stream, but I'm not gonna touch anything in terms of this shit, because I mean this was plenty. This was plenty. Even on micros. Traded micro, traded some regular cons over here. I was a little
Still in. I really want that weekly open.
Yeah, I just secured my shit and then was like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna mess with the getting defunded.
Yep.
There's the market shit. So, right, but if we get above this, that's another 2,000 point gap fill or 1,500, not points, sorry, fucking tick, whatever amount of points that is. I don't even want to know. 385, right? I think. Because yeah, right. Because the tick is. Sorry. See if I do. That's insane. On paper. Look at this shit. 635. Oh, I'm not streaming it here. Ha ha ha. Nice. Oh, you didn't.
That little SMT at the bottom was beautiful.
That SMT and Jim Cramer also said we're going to see a 20% down day. So, you know.
GGs.
So, probably going to see a 20% up day.
You know how it goes.
Inverse Kramer, guys. He predicts another 20% stock market crash from current levels. So this might be your long. That 4 hours looking nice now. I can see possibly, right, our next 4 hour retrace a little bit into this, hit some levels there, so that gives us a little retrace into the 50% of that, and then a continuation up. Or we can just straight like wick and then continue up from here. We have some nice levels to the upside. All of this is pretty much LR right on the 5 minute. That Friday stuff can get taken out. We can retrace a little bit into even previous weekly range. All right, I'm liking where we are going off of. I believe over here that's the, yeah, that is the 705. I'll show you guys on a higher time frame. Let's go to like, get rid of this. So, right, we took our month or weekly, our weekly time frame, and we drew OTE from here to the very top, and we bounced right on that 705. Bounced straight on it. That was beautiful. You see, I have a few price targets set, so we could see a little retrace on this week, or they do the same thing that they did on this week, bump it up, and then sell back down. Because we gapped down last week too, right?
Yep.
Initially started with a gap down, came back up, and then continued on down. Continue up, yeah. So that's what we could see. That's what we are expecting possibly to happen here on those higher time frames. All right, let's take a look at our. Unfortunately, that long that we took on Doge. I mean, we're still in, but it did not work out the way we wanted to. We swept the bottom on this though, so if we do reverse, potentially maybe come back, retest this little breaker now, come back down, right? Or make an even bigger animal. So our animal, instead of doing this, maybe now I can do this. But I just don't like whenever it's like flat like that on the bottom. That's my only concern for it. Other than that, I think this could be solid, or just a little retrace like we're doing right now. A little retrace before we continue down. That 4 hours nice and flat. So whenever, always, not always, but 9 out of 10 times, we will come back and take those equal highs. We were looking at housing, like in housing, to continue down.
Please.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at our US 100. Inside Paper Traders, we said we have outlined this multiple times inside our Discord. And today, another reason for our longs is because we hit 50% of that range, right? Of that whole monthly range, or even 3 month, right? Take your 3 month, even better. 50% of our quarterly range hit that and continued, or started to come up. So if we displace, honestly, if we displace above that 6969.2, oh my god, I got some fucking hiccups. If it's not one thing, it's the other.
Dude, for real. Yeah, that discount tap was beautiful.
Can't stream in peace.
I alerted it in Paper Traders first, but I also did on my Twitter too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, everybody got a little bit of free game tonight. But 50%, if we displace above this, we can see a little continuation up, right? That's our weekly. Weekly's below it. But we still have some liquidities to the downside, right? We did hit, what is that, 50%? Not 50%, but that 705, right? Lined up pretty well with the OTE of that other range that we had. So we took 2 ranges. We made that one of them like the lower monthly range, which is this low to that high. And then we took the most like significant swing low to the most significant swing high. So those are kind of the things that might want to look for, and just stay cautious right now, especially with how far the market is traveling these times. Make sure you size appropriately. I mean, even on a micro, right, 1,000 ticks is $500. No employer is going to pay you that in 4 hours, unless you have a really high paying job. You're like a fucking doctor or pristine lawyer, right? If you're working in,
You're probably not day trading then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But if you're making this as a means of your financial and wanted to make it through, you're going to need to make sure that you secure whatever you can and are staying thankful and blessed for it. That's the biggest thing that I fought for a long time, was just being thankful. That's like, dude, you know what? $200, I'm barely making that,
Dude,
and I just made it in. Oh, go ahead.
For my landlords all day today, cleaning some horribly disgusting rental they own and patching walls for like $125. I mean, yeah, it really does put it back into perspective about how lucky we are to be able to trade.
Yep. So take what is given, right, and don't get fucking greedy. If you make $500 in 5 minutes, go touch some fucking grass, because there is no fucking job, no regular ass job that's gonna pay you that amount of money for 5 minutes of work, or even for a day's worth of work. So it's kind of crazy. That's $40 an hour that you need to be making. Yeah, I think, right? Not 40. Yeah, you need to be making $62 an hour in order for you to make 508 hours. And you're making that in 5 minutes, and you're complaining that, oh, I didn't make enough. Go touch some fucking grass. And that's also a reminder to myself too. Bless you.
You saw that walking down the road, thank you, laying on the side of the road. It's like, would you just leave it there?
Nope.
$500 cash?
Nope.
That's basically what you're doing if you just leave that all on the table.
Mm-hmm. Or if you go back into it, right? If you go back to the, it's like the casino, right? Double or nothing. Double or nothing.
Yeah, if you treat the market like a casino, it will treat you like a casino, and you're better off probably going to the casino.
Mm-hmm. The odds might be higher in the market, but still, it's going to cost you Once you take a loss, then you're gonna get emotional. You're gonna be like, well, now I've lost this. Now I need to make it back. So let me take another trade. You end up losing more, and then you're like, okay, well, one more trade, and I'll make everything, all of that back. And that's like, it's a constant battle, right? So if you make money, just fuck off. Touch some grass. That's our little mental note for the day. Let's take a look at NQ and some key levels. I've used BAJS just to mark them off to be a little bit more accurate, right? So
Go.
this is a bottom that we want just because US 100. So this will be, oh my lord. Okay. Right here, we want that 15,591. It's a key level, a solid one, right? Then we have our whole thing outlined. I'm using that range as it is, that 50% of the range. That's going to be important. Right here, that's 16. Did we sweep that? No, we haven't. What the? Wait. Oh, yeah, that's like way higher over here. Okay. I see what's going on. All right, okay, so 16,455.25, 16,455. 16,455.25. That's an important level to the downside that we want to be watching too. Let's get rid of some of these. We have such a huge range.
Yep. I took profit on that. I'm not, like you just said, I'm not leaving that on the table.
Yeah.
Came into my key levels. No reason to push it anymore than that. It's beautiful trade.
Yeah, plus new hourly open. There's no need to like stress about it or anything like that and be like, well, I can reject, I can do this, I can do that. It's much nicer to just kind of go to bed.
Go to sleep.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Let's take this level to the upside. See how that range, and we broke out of it. So that's very important though. Sometimes whenever we break out of a range, we like to retest those levels, and we want to mark them because those retests or those breaks, they can act as a rejection zone in the future, right? So whenever we come back to a level, we want to make sure that, okay, well, if we broke that, let's see if we retest it and then see if it acts as a support or a resistance for us at that point in time. I can get rid of that. Let's take a gander in terms of our weekly range. But we have quite a weekly fucking range, dude. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. A little gap up top on our monthly range. Or sorry, on our. So let's mark that gap. That lines up with the 618. With how volatile we are, we can certainly come back up. I mean, 8,000 ticks, that's fucking insane. But I'm not putting that out of the picture. Lines up with the 618. So I think that's a pretty solid level. 1920 versus 29.25. I think it's doable. I think they can easily push it up considering how wide our range was previously. And considering that we don't have news Monday or Tuesday, and we have news starting Wednesday. We have FOMC minutes, so they're just reiterating what happened last time. Core PCE, core CPI on Thursday, core PPI on Friday, and University of Michigan numbers as well. Consumer sentiment. Those UOM news usually move the market pretty well at that 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. Like 30 minutes into open. They move the market well. I like it. I love to play reaction off of those. Let me send these levels to Mr. Hazed. These dot ones we can leave on there. Let's say they're still relevant. But we can always come back, redraw them and do our thing. There's that for you, sir.
You say?
Yeah, 4 hour. New 4-hour just opened up, right? So like we said, we can come back down, see if we retest. Well, now we're... Well, the big thing, right? Thing that we always talk about. Let me do this and do that. We always... Okay, what is price doing? Are we staying above or below the closing price of this down close candle? If we're going below it and we're going to go below the 50%, we're likely going to see more downside. Right, that typically you want to monitor that on the hourly probably. Okay, what is price doing? Are we staying below the close or are we staying above the close? If we're above the close, we can likely come up and retest that and then continue up as long as the body holds. If not, then we're likely going to continue to the downside right here. And then over here, we want to watch, okay, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to bounce up and continue going? Or are we going to come up, maybe reject this, and then continue down? So just kind of the things that we want to watch. Let's see. Let me just post this. Do you see a retrace? Continuation up. 4-hour wick. And we continue. Break the wick. 50%. And we go down.
Ranges are just insane.
What's up?
The ranges are just nutty.
Yeah. Want to see it hold above 16,985.25. That's if we want to see it continue to hold to the upside. So 19,505.25. Right, let's maybe mark that over here. Well, why is this on this? Should be on the 15-minute. This needs to be on our... Let me mark this on the 4-hour. That right there, 19... Yep, 95.65. Like that. So if we want to continue up, we're going to want to see above it. I like how we swept the previous hourly high now. So now it's all, I'll see up to what we want to do. Could reverse here. Sure. Got a little bit of LR to the downside. Never retested the OTF the range. This little sweep was a little sus, but we did come into 50% of this as well. Right? That's why 50% are so important. 50% of that wick. Right? Look at that. To a T. I hesitated. I took some longs over here and sold them some over there. So that was it for me. That was micros. Or minis. One of those. But that is what we see for high time frame. Right, we got that out of the way. Reviewed a little bit of what we see on this. What we see, what we did in the past. Now let's talk a little bit about those liquidity pools. Right, those clusters of levels. Typically, right, buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity. Buy side is going to be up top. Sell side is going to be at the bottom. Buy side liquidity is typically you're going to see little clusters of levels, and those are going to be your liquidity pools, right? So when you have a lot of wicks, those are solid liquidity levels. When you have a lot of wicks to the upside like these two, right, then we have a final candle, pushes through these, continuation down, these little wicks, just those clusters of levels. Like right here, right, when it's kind of seems like it's just ranges, right? Those are going to be your most solid liquidity pools where you have a bunch of levels, right? A bunch of those stops resting right below it because people are entering the market over here, putting their stops below the lows. Like, okay, well, if it stops out, right, that's their sell stop. Once those sell stops trigger, that's more sell orders, so the market is going to continue down. Kind of that interaction that we keep talking about, right, between buyers and sellers. That's what we were talking about on Friday of if we are looking at our higher time frame chart. Oh, dang. US 100 took the top of that 4-hour. Huh. Well, that could mean downside. Outside 4-hour. Take that wick again. That's what we keep talking about on this, right? That's what we covered on Friday right here, is that range, right? While we do want to keep buying the market, we can't possibly continue buying that raw material up top over here if we want to sell some sort of product for if we want to have a margin on it, right? Or if we want to have a return on our investment. We can't be like, well, this is not great RR. We were much better off buying our raw material over here and then selling a finished product up top, right? That's what we're kind of looking for, and that's what we discussed. If you haven't watched that stream, I suggest you go check it out. That's going to be our Friday review. That's when we opened up the market and saw it for the first time. This is not looking at it on Friday. So make sure you go to www.papertraders.io. Check out that link that goes to our YouTube, that directs you straight to our live sessions. And on there, you can see every single recorded live sessions that we have done in the past. You'll also have access to a lot of great tools like the Trader Log. You'll have access to our ICT training. You'll have access to Candle Creator, and you will have access to the risk calculator. All of those tools are free. Make sure you check it out, guys. See what you like, see what you don't like. All right, there's no obligation to sign up or anything like that. If you do love the streams, support them, share them, give it a like, give it a share. We always appreciate you guys for doing that, as that kind of helps us spread the message. And if you do want to hang out with us and see a little bit more of a detailed or in-depth analysis that we provide to the members in our community, you can go ahead and join. You can join for a week, you can join for a month, you can join for a lifetime. Whichever one suits your fancy. So, right, that is about it. We covered some of the stocks in our channel in terms of those long-term levels that we were looking for us to, just like those buying opportunities, right? Those buying opportunities more than anything for our commons plays. Like, for example, SPY. SPY, we could see continuation down. I would love SPY at 426 to 410. That would be insane for longs, right? We're not going to discount the fact that, okay, well, we can come up over here to 476, bounce there, right? This could give us a small retrace into the range to continue down and then have an actual move up, because if we're looking on a 3-month time frame, within that 3-month time frame, that's still a downwards move, right? And then once we take those liquidities, once we come into that OTE, that's when we start buying. All right, so like that 786 is probably, or 618 is going to line up with one of those levels. Yeah, look at that. 705 lines up perfectly with that 426. So let's see if we do something like that. Right? This is higher time frame, obviously. We're not looking at it as like this will be an exact move on the day, but just a general market direction wise. That is what we kind of see. SPY. SPY. I think that's going to do for tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Plain and simple.
Yeah, just a quick little stream. Appreciate you guys for supporting us, allowing us to have our times off. Yesterday we took a little break from the screens, not look at anything yesterday. Just enjoyed the nice weather that we had. Well, semi-nice weather. It got a little warmer towards the end of the day. But today, we also had nice weather. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. As always, make sure to give it a like, give it a little share if you like these. If you want to see more of them as well, we love doing them. We absolutely love sharing the education and the things that we've learned from the past and passing that knowledge forward to you guys. So if you do enjoy it, just show some support. We're not asking for any fees or anything like that, right? These live streams are completely free to you and to us. The only thing that we're doing is just giving you guys our time. So just give it a like, give it a share. So let's check out www.papertraders.io. Go check out our previous live streams. Share them if you found something knowledgeable in them. I would suggest you check out the one that we did on Friday. That one was really good. I like that one. Make sure you follow at Hazed Beats on Twitter. Make sure you follow at the Paper Traders. That one will help you stay updated to any news or anything that we post, any giveaways that we do. We just did one for 3 lifetime subscriptions. We probably are not going to do one for a very long time. So Make sure you just stay tuned, check it out, retweet, repost, stay active on there, and maybe we'll give you a special little code. Other than that, thank you guys. We shall see you tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir.
Peace out.
Peace.